Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Good Food Hood Dude. I'm Chef D, and I'm gonna bring you some dope ass dishes. On today's episode, we're gonna be making shrimp tacos with a charred pineapple salsa, Chipotle Aioli, and we're gonna be making tortilla shells from scratch. I'm gonna show you guys how to make fresh tacos. Let's get into it. So let me show you what we got over here, guys. We got some fresh Gulf shrimp, wild caught, diced red onion, minced garlic, fresh minced jalapeno, red wine vinegar, a nice pineapple, mayo, chipotle puree, fresh squeezed lime juice, masa flour, cilantro, salt, black pepper. All right, so let's start out with our charred pineapple salsa. The reason why we want to do that first is so that we can allow it time to marinate while we're prepping the rest of our ingredients. So let's go ahead and break down this pineapple. What we want to do to start out by cleaning the pineapple, we're just going to take the top of it off and then the bottom. And then as you see, it has these outer layers. So we're just going to kind of gently trim the outer layers, going around, careful not to cut ourselves, but just kind of taking a small outer layer off. Just make sure you clean your cutting board as you go so you don't have a lot of clutter and it's easier to work in your space. So okay, so you guys see I kind of took off the outer layer, but you still have like these brown spots, so you just want to go around again and just take off those brown spots with your knife. So now we're left with our pineapple. You notice there's a rind in the middle. You can't use that, so what we're going to do is just kind of cut right around it, and then we're left with these nice pineapple chunks. All right, so let's go ahead and get our olive oil in our pan. See, our pan is getting nice and hot. So in the meantime, I'm going to just take my pineapple and kind of cut it in half and then come down lengthwise so that I have like nice, almost like squares or rectangles. And then again, and that way when we're charring it, it can get like an even layer of char on both sides. It's not too bulky. We just hit this with a little bit of salt and pepper and olive oil, and you want to make sure it's evenly coated. Just take your hand, kind of toss it around, and then you want your saute pan and your olive oil and your saute pan to be nice and hot. So that will make for a better char when you add in your pineapple. So let's go ahead and get our pineapple in. So basically what we're gonna do is we're just gonna cook these until they begin to caramelize on each side. What's happening is the pineapple is releasing the sugar, and so you're getting a nice like dark brown color, and that's gonna give us a nice flavor in our pineapple salsa. So as you can see, we're getting a nice caramelization. Let's go ahead and flip these and get them caramelized on the other side. At this point, just go ahead and turn off your heat and kind of let the pan do its work. At this point, it's nice and hot. It'll finish, and about another minute or so, we'll pull these pineapples out and start to build our salsa. Okay, let's go ahead and pull these out, and we'll sit them on our cutting board. You see the bottom has a nice caramelization too. So go ahead and pull those out, let them rest. So let's go ahead and start making our charred pineapple salsa. Start out with our diced red onion. We're gonna add in about a 1/4 cup of diced red onion. And we have our minced garlic. Go ahead and add in about maybe a teaspoon and a half of your fresh minced garlic. Let's get in our fresh jalapenos. So let's get in about maybe a tablespoon. It's gonna be nice and spicy, a nice kick to our shrimp tacos. Our pineapples are nice and cool right now. Let's go ahead and cut those up and get those into our salsa. Yeah, so we're just gonna give these a nice, kind of medium dice. All right, so let's go ahead and get these in the bowl with the rest of the stuff, and then we can finish it and let it marinate. The only thing we have to add, left to add to this pineapple salsa is our red wine vinegar, fresh squeezed lime juice, and a little bit of salt and pepper. Then we can go ahead and pop it in the fridge and let it begin to cool down and start to marinate while we move on to our other ingredients. So with our red wine vinegar, I say just about a teaspoon. You don't need a lot of it. You just want to acid in there, which is going to bring out the flavors in the rest of the items. With your fresh squeezed lime juice, I say about maybe like a tablespoon of that. And salt and pepper, just a pinch. And then we'll add in just maybe like a teaspoon of olive oil. And then you can go ahead and begin to mix those up. Just make sure it's evenly incorporated. And then that's it, guys. Let's go ahead and pop this in the fridge. Let this marinate, cool down for a little bit, and we can start our other ingredients. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and make our Chipotle Aioli. So what we're gonna do is just start out, we have our mayo. Again, we have some fresh squeezed lime juice, and I'm putting gloves on because this chipotle pepper is very spicy. So you kind of don't want to touch it with your hands, so that way it doesn't get in your eye and your face. All right, let's go ahead and start out by adding our mayo into a bigger bowl. So it's about a quarter cup of mayo. And then we're gonna add in about maybe a tablespoon of lime juice. And with the chili puree, we're just gonna add in about maybe a teaspoon. That's plenty, maybe a little bit more. And that's enough to go ahead and start building our aioli. Just add in a little bit of salt and pepper. And then we're just gonna go ahead and chop our cilantro, and that'll finish our Chipotle Aioli. All right, so what I like to do is just like cut off some leaves and then set those to the side. And what I do with my cilantro leaves is I kind of get them all bunched together and almost roll them up into like almost like a ball, very tight. And then I take my knife. Make sure you hold your fingers, very carefully so that you don't cut yourself. And then I just take my blade and kind of run it through gently. All right, so let's just add in about maybe a tablespoon of our fresh chopped cilantro. Give it a good mix. So that's well incorporated. Let's go ahead and sit this to the side so we can start our corn tortillas. Remember, we said we're gonna make some fresh corn tortillas. So we have a cast iron tortilla press. I'll show you guys how to use this in a second, but this is a really good tool. You can find these online anywhere from 15 to like up to 50 bucks. All right, so let's go ahead and start making these tortillas. We have, this is a cup of our masa flour, 3/4 of a cup of water. So we're just gonna add a little bit of water in at a time just so we can create the right consistency for our dough. So just add in a little and begin to form it, and you can add more as you go. And as you can see, you got your dough beginning to form. So we actually added in all of our water. This is gonna take our hand and kind of begin to form it into a nice dough ball. Okay, so it looks like we just need a little bit more water. We want our dough not to be too loose, but it looks a little dry, so just add in just a touch more just to get that nice consistency. And you kind of want your dough, once you touch it, it has like somewhat of an indentation. That's when you know your dough is a good consistency. All right, so we have our dough. We're just gonna peel off a nice amount and then form that into a ball, maybe the size of a golf ball. We'll form them and then we'll just flatten them out with the tortilla press, the pan. So I got 9 tortilla balls out of that amount of flour. So again, let's go ahead and press these out using our tortilla press. So we're gonna put a piece of plastic down first. Go ahead and put your tortilla ball in the middle and then another piece of plastic right on top. When you're closing your tortilla press, you don't need a lot of force, not a lot of pressure, just kind of gently press it down and then pull it back up. And then there you have a nice tortilla. So we got about 4 tortillas pressed out. Let's go ahead and begin to cook these while we're waiting to press out our other tortillas. So I got a saute pan nice and hot. I just sprayed it with a little pan coating spray. So just cook these about 30 seconds. Initially about a minute on one side and then another 30 seconds on the other. And then if you see here, I have a pan set to the side. It's lined with aluminum foil and parchment paper. We're just gonna put our cooked tortilla shells in there in order to keep them hot while we're finishing our shrimp tacos. So let's just get this avocado ready for garnish. What I'm doing is just cutting some nice slices in it. And then what I'll do is just take a spoon and kind of go right on the outer layer and just kind of gently run my spoon around. And those nice slices come right out. So we'll go ahead and cover our tortillas up with some foil, pop them in the oven, keep them warm. And you can have this on low temperature, lowest temperature possible, just to keep those warm. In the meantime, let's go ahead and start prepping our shrimp to be sauteed for our shrimp tacos. Okay guys, so we have our charred salsa, we have our Chipotle Aioli finished, we just cooked our tortillas. Let's go ahead and get our shrimp cooked. So before we do that, let's season it. I like to season it very simple, a little salt and pepper, and we're gonna add in a little chili powder and some Cajun seasoning just to give it a nice kick. And also in the meantime, we have our saute pan getting nice and hot so we can sear our shrimp. Again, so I have some chili powder here mixed with some Cajun seasoning. I'm just gonna, you know, aggressively just kind of season that. Hit it with some salt and pepper. And just kind of a little bit of olive oil. And again, take my hand, just kind of mix it up so that it's evenly coated and all your shrimp are nice and seasoned. Let's go ahead and cook our shrimp so we have, you know, our pan nice and hot. We'll throw some olive oil in it. And guys, the key with this shrimp is you want to, you know, make sure you don't overcook it. So you want to get a nice sear on each side. It takes really about 30 to 45 seconds on each side when you have your pan nice and hot. So as you can see, they're already nice and caramelized, which is amazing. So you don't want to overcook them because they can tend to get rubbery if you do. All right, so let's go ahead and pull our shrimp off, set it to the side so we can begin plating our shrimp tacos. All right, so let's go ahead and start plating, guys. And we're gonna pull out our tortilla shells that are nice and warm and kind of line them in our dish. So the first thing we'll add in is our shrimp, maybe like 3 or 4 pieces per taco. And from here, I wanna go ahead and add in my Chipotle Aioli as the next layer. So just kind of a nice, kind of even layer of your Chipotle Aioli. And finish this with our nice charred pineapple salsa. So this is where it gets good, guys. That nice flavor from the pineapple, the sweetness, paired with your spice from your Chipotle, is gonna make for a nice, dope-ass taco. And there you have it, another dope-ass dish. All right, guys, that was another dope-ass dish. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, let us know what you think, and we'll catch you next time.